through why being the fixer in your organization and for your team is what's really going to keeping you stuck from really being that leader and being the one that your bosses, your leaders are going to see as a strong leader and raise your profile. So I know what this is like. So if you're new to my channel or first time you've watched this video, I'm Kim. I have spent 20 years in corporate working in different organizations and different leadership roles. And for the last 4.5 years, I am also an executive coach for women in leadership, helping them increase their effectivity of being a leader, but also navigating all of those, we call them tricky little potholes that we as women have, especially that come up on our path. So let's talk about this today, about the sense of us being that fixer, right? And your team keeps leaning on you and how to stop that. Now, before I get into the full topic today, I do want to let you know there's an opportunity this week on Friday afternoon at 2 p.m. Central European time, which is 8 a.m. Eastern time. I am doing a live brainstorm. So if you want to grab a spot for the live brainstorm, then please DM me or comment below brainstorm, and I will make sure you get the details. Now let's dive into this today. So when you find yourself essentially doing it all, this does not make it look like you're a strong leader. It just means you're really available to help out with your team at all times. And that is not a strong thing to do. So you find yourself overwhelmed because you're constantly picking up the slack. You're fixing things that are coming up, or maybe it is just simply they're pinging you or emailing you, could you check this once more? But really, rather than, because here's what I often see is then there's the doubt that creeps in, like, oh, I must not have done this right. Maybe I didn't explain it properly. Oh, there must be something not clear in the process. Now, while that can all be true, and that is a great place to check, here's what the other side of this is if you are constantly stepping in going, okay, it must have done something wrong on my end, so I will fix this, without really checking, what you're doing is training your team and everyone around you to consistently just rely on you as being, the cleanup person, or you're the encyclopedia for your team. And this does not make you a strong leader. It just makes you an excellent doer. And if they are finding that you've delegated things, but they're not following through, then you are a safety net, and you are a safety net for your team. But you're also essentially seen almost like a safety net within your organization of like, yeah, you're great, but I don't think she could handle any more responsibilities because she's got her hands full with her team already, right? And then you're not being seen as a strategic partner. And for a lot of women leaders, what I hear, and I know I've said this too throughout my corporate career, is when you lean back and go like, hold on a minute. I see that I really want to have my team be more proactive. I want them to take more initiative. They need to take more responsibility for the tasks and the outcomes that I've delegated to them, but I don't want to come across as too harsh. So, or you might find yourself, oh goodness, like I have to jump in and help my team because they must be really overwhelmed, or they look like they're really overwhelmed. Well, one thing I want to give you here is this is not necessarily an issue of delegation in a sense, but more as, again, you have really developed trust within your team that they can trust that you will jump in and fix everything. So there isn't really the space for them to make mistakes, which means there's also no space for them to grow, but it also means that you don't have the capacity to operate anywhere else but on like the daily operational firefighting crisis management level. And you don't get that opportunity to take that step back and really operate more on a strategic level, leading your team rather than just kind of like, mopping up behind them and around them. So one of the things that you can do in this is when you want to reset your team expectations, and This is a topic that comes up quite a lot within my Leadership Accelerator, which we go into depth, and all of the women inside that get proven strategies working on how to work with their teams, increase their visibility, and become that strategic partner in their organizations. One of these things that you can do is really start being very specific about your expectations, framing them as outcomes, not in the sense of like, hey, like you need to get my approval before you do this next step. So some ways of phrasing that can be different. You might be saying right now, let me know if anything, if you get stuck anywhere. Okay. Well, that's, sounds very compassionate and empathetic, and you're really being more that servant leader. Except here's the thing. As soon as they run into something that they might get stuck on, they're like, oh, I must be stuck. I'll go check in with my manager, with my leader, so that they can help me put me on the right path, rather than that they are finding a way out of that. So for example, you could also say, you're the owner for this outcome. This is your responsibility. If there's a blocker or an obstacle you come up against, feel free to bring it back to me, as well as providing me with some solutions. Now, one thing that can start helping you within some of this is also what I call my boardroom whisper technique. This is a technique that I've developed in order for you to increase your visibility, in order for you to increase the authority that you have in how you speak and how others perceive you. So if you are looking to grab a mini training that I've created on that, as well as a checklist, I want you to DM me checklist and I will get that to you. But here's a question that I really want you to ask yourself when it comes to how your team is functioning. And again, we started off with like, if you're going to be the fixer and you are constantly the fixer, your team is very reliant on you, which is not positioning yourself as a leader, as a strategic leader, as a partner that your leadership can work together with. What you're doing is essentially babysitting. So let me ask you this. If you were to be gone for a week, and that can be even planned, but let's just even say there's something happened, you aren't going to come in for the next week unexpectedly. What would break? What would happen within your team? If this means the answer for you is like, it's chaos, there's like, they're not going to be knowing what to do. I know my boss or they X, Y, and Z could probably step in and they'll figure it out, but really it's going to be one big mess when I come back. Guess what? You are not leading effectively. You are not delegating effectively. You are the fixer, which also makes you the bottleneck. So I want to share with you ways that you can change that. Now, the best next step for you to take is a DM me brainstorm, because I've got a free brainstorm on Friday afternoon all around how to really create delegation that is going to be effective, how you can lead with authority in your team without having to be that fixer. And if you know you already are ready for some more support, proven strategies, and really get inside a community of amazing women doing amazing things and getting amazing roles, then I would love you to DM me Accelerator, and I will send you an application for the next round within my 6-month Leadership Accelerator program. Now, again, being the fixer, just to summarize it up today, being the fixer is not going to get you seen as a leader. It is not going to get you seen as a strategic partner. What it does is it means you are a great workhorse. You are a fantastic doer. But unfortunately, that means your growth opportunities are going to be limited to your ability to do rather than your ability to lead. So let's change that. Join me on Friday inside the brainstorm. Again, DM me brainstorm and I will get you all the details for that. And I would love to see you there. And if you've got any questions, as always, you can drop them in the comments and I can answer those questions there, or you can DM me as well. Have a great day and we'll talk to you.